What we're seeing, of course, these days is the search by the mining companies for sources of supply in ever more complex geographies. I mean, we're looking at companies now exploring in places such as Western Africa, or all through Africa, in fact, Central Asia, South America, wherever there is sources of supply. At the same time, you're actually seeing countries here that are bringing in new terms of regulation in terms of either protecting their country's sovereign national assets, and we see that in a number of countries now, for example, Indonesia. We are seeing now countries that are actually bringing in new forms of revenue raising in various manifestations. And this is a reality that the mining companies are now facing up to, and the issue for them is how will they respond to that? Access to labour, access to workforce, access to resources that will actually travel to some of these remote locations is a huge issue being faced right now in the mining sector. You've got Generation Y that really wants to work just within capital cities, I've got to tell you. And you've got assets that are in places such as Central Asia, Western Africa. I mean, these are the new centres of mining these days, and it's how do you actually get people working in those in those remote locations? And the answer is it's complex. You've got to look at accommodation issues there. You've got to look at the actual fly-in, fly-out scenarios. Most mining companies are now moving to fly-in, fly-out in those types of places. And they're facing large turnovers of staff. I mean, some places, if you've got fly-in, fly-out populations there, you're looking at 50% turnover of staff. And this is in a world economy where the number of capital projects that are competing for resources is at levels that we've never seen before. When mining companies these days are actually exploring and developing new assets, at the same time that they're doing that, they really have to go in there. So mining companies cannot explore or develop without going to those locations without remediation plans in place initially. That is the new reality. Second thing is having the plans around the environment impact statements in place, having plans in place around dealing with Indigenous peoples in terms of the local communities. These are paramount in terms of the issues that mining companies are facing. You've got so many organisations, or so many mining companies that have actually grown from basically small capitalisation of $500 million turnover businesses, and they're now capitalisations in the 10, 20, $30 billion of capitalisation. They're right in the top 100 companies in the world. And the issue they face is around growth. How do they grow? How do they grow their business in such a way that it doesn't collapse under the weight of this, under the weight of expectations of shareholders, under the sheer pressures around their organisational design. So there's a lot of organisational design issues here. There are a lot of issues in terms of getting in place the right infrastructure of their organisation in terms of the right people, the right reporting systems, the right processes in place, the right controls in place to actually say that they can grow and they can be sustainably growing going forward, and taking advantage of this opportunity that's here in terms of probably one of the greatest booms we're actually seeing in modern times.